You're listening to BSI, the podcast, with Benny Philhauer, Tao and Arco Para. Enjoy!
I think they offered him HGH because I promise you this guy was scrawny.
I want you to say it. I will kiss the badge.
No. I didn't say I will kiss the badge. You said hypothetical. Which would I do? I didn't say I will.
Welcome to BSI, the podcast. We are on season 2, episode 7, I think it is, and we're going to have a great guest today, Mo Edu, a dude that I got to play with on the national team, in the Olympics, and I think he's going to have some good stories for us.
Yeah, he was a guy I grew up playing against, being from Southern California. Used to be a pretty scrawny little kid, and then went to Maryland, and I don't know, started lifting weights with the football.
This guy's
training
jacked.
Coaches. So yeah, he got pretty massive and made him a better player.
Yeah, dude, and now I think he's doing a good job with Fox and Bleacher Report, being an analyst, being color commentary, and he's in my opinion the best dressed out of everybody that he works with. So we'll get into that a little bit and ask him some of those questions. We'll talk about his career, all the stops that he made, Rangers being a big one, his national team career, why that goal didn't count against Slovenia. Some of good stories of Olympic team and Olympic team qualifying, and so we'll get into all that. And let's not waste any more time. Actually, let's waste one little bit of time just to reiterate that we're doing the GoFundMe page for anybody that hasn't realized that yet. Please go donate. We all donated some. We'd like to get it up to 10,000. I think we're at 3,000 something right now. We kind of stalled, so let's try and get people more involved on that. That's again for doctors on the front line, for educational purposes, teachers that are funding educational things online on their own right now. So we're trying to do our part here in a tough situation to make things better. All right. So, anyways, let's get back to the episode. Let's get Mo Edu. All right, welcome Maurice Edu to the podcast, dude. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Of course, man. It took you guys long enough to have me on here. What's the deal?
I know, dude. That's we didn't know that we were like sought out by people. We're trying to like find guests to come on the show, and so first time I reached out to you, you showed some interest. So let's go.
I didn't know you wanted to come on.
I saw Ike like a few weeks ago. We were doing their game against Portland. And I was like, bro, what's the deal? He was like, don't worry. We're coming for you.
We're just building up ammo. Ike's been building up ammo for like 6 months now.
Yeah, he was so happy about it. I'm like, you're going to regret this. I don't know why you're like so excited to come on. Like, it's not that easy. But hey, welcome. And after you roasted me on the after the opening game about the PK that I gave up, I got it.
What did you want me to say?
Hey, it was clear cut pen.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no way of getting around that.
But
you got over eager, Ike.
I've got rebuttals, but I won't. This isn't about me. This is about Mo. Carry on.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's start. We know how this works. Quick hitters to start. Then we'll ask you some questions about your career, and then you got Ike to deal with. If you answer all 5 of those questions, then you get to ask one of us something. So just have that in mind, and let's start. All right, quick hitter. So you're doing a lot of studio work, a lot of color commentary with Fox and with Bleacher Report. And so first question is, this is based on my personal opinion of you being the best dressed out of all the people that I've ever seen on TV. By the way, I'm going to have to hit you up. If I ever get into media, I'm going to have to hit you up for some tips. So
for sure, you'll have to. The way you dress, my goodness.
Exactly. As we all witnessed in my appearance in Atlanta, where I wore dark on dark and I got crushed for it. Here it is. So the first question is: you rank these 6 people that you work with, and maybe if I'm missing anybody, you can add it. So 6 people from best dressed to worst dressed, and here are the 6: Stewie, John Strong, Alexi Lalas, Katie Witham, Tim Howard, and Kate Abdo.
Oh, damn.
This is tough. That's just tough. That's an easy quick hitter.
It's a long hitter, but it's a fun one.
Okay, you said Stu, John, Alexi, Kate, Katie, and who am I said?
Tim.
And like 15 others. Who's just the best and who's the worst? How about that?
Okay, I'm gonna say. Okay. I say Kate is 1.
Okay, Abdo.
I'm not included, so Kate is 1.
No, you're not included. You. I have already put you at number 1, so this would be like number 2, really.
Okay, I'll say Kate. Dang, this is a tough one because Katie dresses well too. Stu prides himself on his appearance. Tim is. Okay, I'll start from the bottom. The bottom, I'll say it's a coin toss between Alexi and John.
Sorry, I couldn't hold it.
I could have picked those two.
On any given day, it can fluctuate there. I'm gonna say. Okay, well, hold on. Are we talking about Stu on Bleacher Report or Stu on Fox? Stu on Champions League, Stu.
Let's do Bleacher Report because on Bleacher Report he's on TV more often, whereas on Fox he's usually just the voice.
Okay. So then I'm gonna say he's gonna hate me for this. I'm gonna say Stu is 4. I'm gonna go Katie 3. I'm gonna go Tim 2.
And Kate Abdo is number 1.
Yeah.
Dang, that Bleacher Report's got the style then.
I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit there, you know. I do like Stu dresses well though, man. I'll give him that, but yeah.
You guys always got that sneaker competition going on.
Yo, I'll tell you what. Stu's impressed me because he's slowly becoming like a sneakerhead now. Like in the early days for Champions League, he would come in with just some your basic run-of-the-mill kind of shoes, you know, like Nike sends out a gift basket to every player on Nike, and so that's what Stu would come in wearing. Nothing like exclusive, no heat, like just
That sounds like my kind of style.
That's what Benny still wears from 2008.
So you can relate, right? And so we would come in, and you know, I like my sneakers, so I'd have some high stuff. Tim, same thing. Even Steve would come in with some heat. So Stu was like, "Yo, hold on, man, this can't happen. Like, I gotta set my game up." And so the past couple months, Stu's been coming in off-whites. What else? Fear of God. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, who are you right now? He's like, yeah, bro, come on, man. You know I got that heat. And like, Stu tries to say things that. How do I say this without killing this guy off?
No, you can kill him. He's been on. He had his chance to kill you if he wanted.
Still coming. Like, yo, you know I got that drip. I'm like, bro, stop. No, but it's we have a good group over there. We have a good in both scenarios actually. Fox, good group of guys there and girls, and then same thing with Champions League. That's what makes it kind of fun. You know what I mean? I think we're all passionate about the sport, but then it's like good banter among the group too, and I hope that conveys itself on camera to the viewers.
Yeah, for sure. If I get into that, I'm gonna have to step up my game a little bit. Maybe take some tutorials.
You will. It's infectious, man.
All right. Moving on. This is an easier question. Which team that you played for do you feel most connected to now?
Probably Rangers. I spent the most time there. Well, the most time there and played the most. When I was in Philly, I was there for 4 years too. But the last 2 years, I was injured. I feel a strong connection to Philly just because, you know, they made me captain. I wore the armband. That's something that, you know, not every player gets to experience. And so definitely feel strong ties there. But I think Rangers gave me a chance to play in Europe first and foremost, to win trophies, to play in Champions League. And ultimately, that was my springboard to go to a World Cup, right? So the fans there, the whole atmosphere and being a part of a club like that, it was something special. So that's when I'm probably closest to that club.
And you had a lot of success there too. I mean, you scored in the Old Firm and you had some big timely goals at the end of games. I remember like seeing 2 or 3 times where you scored like 90 minutes in the 90th minute or something to win a game. And one of them was against Celtic, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Cause like the beauty of social media is I still get messages about that. I'll still get people posting that video and tagging me in it. Like, oh, I remember this day. And it's the beauty of sport, I think, is that you create moments, right? And moments that were people can relate. They can retell where they were at that exact moment when that play happened. And like, I get that on a consistent basis. Fans reaching out talking about, oh my God, I fell down 20 flights of stairs, or I was drunk in a pub talking shit to Celtic fans, or whatever it is, and it's like, it takes you back to that moment and helps you relive it too. And that was just a special occasion. I remember that game. Damn, I can't really say that on here, but
you could say it all, dude.
Nah, if I say this, it has to be edited. Just know that, so Bees was one of my teammates when I scored that goal. And if you know Bees, you know Bees. So when that final whistle blew and I'm walking off the pitch, he's like the first one that came up to me. And he thanked me for scoring that goal because it was going to lead to some success for him. So
yeah, I see where this is going. I'm guessing off the field.
So yeah, that was a special moment. Great goal. Great club.
All right. All right. Last question of the quick hitters. Do you enjoy? So now you're doing some color commentary. You're also doing studio work. So which one of the two do you enjoy the most?
I get asked it a lot, man, and it's hard because I've done more studio, so I think I feel a little bit more comfortable there. Going into it, I always thought that I was going to be better at that because I feel like I'm a person who kind of talks with facial gestures, and sometimes, especially in the beginning, it was hard for me to just convey all the emotion and get my voice to come across the way that I wanted to come across when I was calling games. I think that I've gotten a little bit better at that, but I think I feel, I don't know. I like doing studio because that's just a venue that I feel comfortable in, but there's no feeling like calling a game, like being in a stadium, soaking up the atmosphere. Sometimes it's actually even better or it's a different perspective than when you're a player. When you're a player, sometimes you're so locked into the game, right? Just tunnel vision, focus on the next play and what's happening there on the pitch. And you don't even take advantage or realize what's happening in the stadium, in the stands, and what the atmosphere really is like. And so being from that perspective up high, you get to witness everything happening around you, see the chants, see the different fan interactions. And it's a unique perspective and something I've actually enjoyed.
Nice.
So I didn't really answer your question, did I?
No, you did. I think that's going to be something that I'm going to have to talk to you about afterwards as well. Once
quick question. Hey, what's worse, when a fan crushes you on Twitter as a player, like you played a bad game, or a fan crushes you for being like a shit studio analyst?
I don't.
It's all the same.
Probably it's one of the same. I don't take too much. I don't pay too much mind to it right now because I still feel like I'm fairly new into it, and I actually appreciate the criticism, right? Because I want to get better, so I take any kind of criticism as just critique. If you feel like
but Twitter's not where you're going to find constructive criticism, is it?
It's hatred or love. It's like one or the other.
It's you suck and I hate you.
Yeah, but I remember when I was young and Twitter first came out, I was all about it. I'd be sitting there going back and forth with fans and just like, because it was fun. I didn't really care. It wasn't so much that I took what they said personal. It was just fun, like just banter and seeing how much you can wind them up. Now I'm more passive. I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah. All right. Those are all for the quick or slow hitters, as we like to call them nowadays. I'm going to bring you back for the first question of the interview here. So you are from California, Rancho, or close to Rancho, right? Or in Rancho, where you grew up in Cucamonga?
Yeah.
And it
pretty much.
And it was your maybe I'm adding a little bit to the story, but you really wanted to go to UCLA for college. So you came to official visit to UCLA. I was there.
And then he decided to go to Maryland.
We showed you such a good time that you decided to go all the way across the country to Maryland. Why? I want to know why you chose Maryland.
He got that money in the envelope, bro. That's why he went. Why would you leave Cali? You know what I mean? To go to doesn't make any sense.
I think they offered him HGH because I promise you, this guy was scrawny. This guy was like a toothpick. And then I saw him after his freshman year at Maryland,
his
and I was like,
his
oh
calves
my
has always
God,
been
this guy's
skinny calves, always.
Dude,
yeah.
I walked in that same production meeting. Yo, I walked in. This dude had it's supposed to be a large shirt. It fit like a small. I'm like, yo,
I'll give you some tips, man. You just buy small clothing and it gives an illusion, man. People have you. You gas up everyone, man. Everyone thinks that you're so much bigger than you really are.
Yeah, but if I buy small clothing, I'll just look fat.
When you were a player, for sure.
So why did I choose Maryland? Well, yeah, I did. When I went to UCLA, I did like it. It was, man, we had a good time, a real good time there. And probably that would have been the ideal school just because it's close to home. My family could have seen me play. My dad had a stroke my senior year of high school, so that would have been the more sensible thing to do. But when I went to Maryland, I had a really good visit there too. Sash was no bullshit, just kind of like a straight hitter with me. And I think ultimately, I wanted to play pro. And in my mind, I was like, if I'm going to play pro, I don't have the luxury of picking what club I'm going to play at, especially if I'm in MLS and we go through the draft system. Or even if you go to Europe, it's not guaranteed where you're going to go. So you have to just figure it out how to be independent, how to, deal with being away from family. So I made that decision. And then it didn't hurt that, Maryland offered me a better scholarship than UCLA did too. So no, but I think more importantly, it was the fact that I was looking towards the future and about being a pro. And I knew I needed to grow up. I knew I had to become just independent in all facets of life. And I think that definitely helped me.
Yeah.
My official visit to Wake Forest, actually, I actually watched you guys play Maryland or them play Maryland at home at Wake. And I was the first time they lost. I wasn't there yet, so relax. I wasn't there yet. But that was my first time that I saw you play. And Omar might have been a forward at the time, if I remember. Like, it was like Omar Gonzalez. So
Omar played
knows.
Up top?
Yeah, I think he did.
Bro, he got recruited as a forward. He was like all through his youth career and everything. He was a striker.
Really?
Yeah. Long ponytail.
Yeah, that's right. They were a decent team, and that's why I remember seeing Mo, and I'm like, okay, this guy's pretty good. And then he pieced out before I got to Wake, but so it was cool to at least see you before all the other people knew who you were, I guess.
Did you go to Maryland for 1 or 2 years, Mo?
No, bro, I played 3 seasons there, yeah.
Oh, you played 3 seasons. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went to Toronto.
And then Toronto.
So Toronto's my next question. So you won Rookie of the Year in Toronto. Were you there for 2 seasons?
Yeah, a year and a half because I left right after the Olympics.
So I'll get back to the Olympics at one point here, but Toronto. So you won Rookie of the Year. So you had individual success, but the team kind of sucked. So how was that, dude? I know it was a brand new team, so how was that?
And Toronto was amazing, bro. If I could have spent more time there and still had the same timeline and career, which doesn't make sense, I would have, because it was, from a city standpoint, unbelievable. The fan base, like, for those who haven't been to Toronto, it's like a melting pot of cultures, right? And all those cultures, soccer is their first sport. So they were just waiting for the team to come. So when they finally announced that they were going to have a soccer team, it was crazy. They sold out season tickets, and yeah, we sucked, man. We were bad. On paper, we were good, man. Like, our starting 11, we used to look at all the time like, damn, how are we losing games? Like, still, like, what's going on? But it was fun for me. I had guys there, like Aleko was there, and that was like my big bro at the time there. He's the one that kind of like really showed me the ropes early days. And then Carl Robinson was like my partner in midfield. Edson Buttle was there. Bro, in that 1 year and a half,
I didn't remember
bro, that year and a half I played with probably 60 players. They used to joke and say that Mo Johnson was treating our team like football manager because players were just coming and going nonstop. But no, realistically, I played with so many guys in just that year and a half. Jeff Cunningham, Danny Dicchio, Tyrone Marshall, like everyone.
This dude was bringing them in like the month-long loans in the Prem.
And then you're out. And then you're gone. But it was fun, man. Toronto's an unbelievable city. They joke now and say that they're thankful because I paid for their grass for them to get grass now when they sold me. I'm like, damn, why couldn't we get grass when I was there?
Oh,
yeah,
man,
they were turf.
Turf. Ow.
Bro, that was turf training every single day.
Really?
Yeah, that was our training facility too. So we trained there every day, play on the weekends. And that was back when MLS would have like the earlier kickoffs too. So it's like the blazing heat in Toronto in the summertime. Dripping before I even start warming up, like feet are on fire.
Yep.
Ice baths for days. Like it was, I'm old now, man. That's probably why my knees feel the way they do.
Maybe. I mean, playing turf is no joke.
But it was good times in Toronto.
Good.
It was some good times.
You guys have any side questions for Toronto before I move on to a next phase?
My side questions will all come in my interrogation. I've got them lined up.
Right,
I'm even adding and subtracting right now.
If you guys have some side questions, then just shoot them out, or else I'm going to keep going.
Well, yeah.
Right. I got a side comment about when you get into the Olympics, but we'll talk about that.
The Olympics is right now. We're getting into the Olympics. So this dude,
all right,
is.
Well, let me talk about the qualifying before the Olympic qualifying.
All right, go ahead. Were you at qualifying?
I want to. Yes, bro. I was your roommate. That's what.
When we were playing poker.
Funny. Yeah,
when we played poker
in the rooms at night. You don't remember?
Wait,
Peter
me
Novak?
and Sash weren't roommates? No, I honestly don't remember because I think I nixed it
no
out of my mind.
No respect for Sal. No respect.
Actually, look. No. I was roommates with Dax, but we were hanging out. Me, you, and Sasha, whatever.
Okay, so I was
Peter
roommate with
Novak
Sasha.
Told me that I needed to stop hanging out with you older guys because I was trying to fit in too much. But anyway.
Mo, you were in that camp, weren't you?
Yeah.
Mo was there too.
No, not in the camp for actual Olympics, the qualifying.
Yes, he was there.
Yeah, bro. What are you talking about?
Dude, I'm telling you, I've
Let me tell this story.
Go.
Let me tell this story.
Go.
So we were playing an inter squad, right? And in this inter squad, I think it was like the day before he was about to pick the qualifying team, right? And he basically did a first and a second team. And he scrimmaged, I remember. And our second team, the guys that maybe weren't going to make the team, some guys weren't, beat you guys in like a 60-minute scrimmage, like 5-0.
5-0?
Yes, it was something ridiculous.
Was I still there?
Yes. Listen,
okay.
Chad Barrett had like 2 goals. Like that's why like a lot of like these guys made the team and then Benny, and then you got cut, which I also thought was like a joke at the time. I think it was like a year prior you were scoring the winning goal in the Gold Cup. But I remember like that whole experience, dude. Peter Novak had lost his mind, man. He lost his mind. He didn't know who to pick. He didn't know like what was going on. The second team crushed the first team the day before he's about to pick the qualifying guys. So I was playing center mid in that game. I played D mid in that game.
I'll add a comment
I never played
to that
D mid
story
in my life.
Because people have asked me, and I've seen like things all the time. And when I did the Instagram live a couple days ago, somebody asked me this story about Freddie Adu. And I don't, was it the scrimmage? I don't think it was a scrimmage.
I think
it was the game that we lost in 5-0 because I don't even remember this result.
I don't remember that. I don't know if that was a game or not, but it was definitely in a game when you did what you did. Yeah.
So okay, you tell Mo. So like I said, I literally don't remember who my roommate is. So you tell me if my mind is fuzzy, and if it's wrong, then you kind of correct me wherever I'm wrong. But this is what I remember about the Freddie Adu story. Freddie Adu story is we were playing a game, and maybe it was this scrimmage game, or maybe it was against someone else, and we were getting killed. So maybe it was this game, or we were getting outplayed. And I remember a couple times that he got the ball, he was trying to do too much, trying to dribble when he should pass, or whatever, like losing the ball and not being safe with the ball and driving everybody behind him crazy. And at one point, I lost my mind, and I'm like, I don't know what I said exactly, but I basically said in a way, stop losing the damn ball. Like, we're all running around. Get your ass behind the ball. Stop, screwing up the whole team. You're fucking with the whole team at this point. And me like berating him on the field. And then he said something back to me, and that was, as I remember it, kind of it, like a yelling at each other on the field.
Was there more to it than that?
Yeah, I mean, it was that. Okay, the way you're telling it makes it seem like it was like harmless, like just your run of the mill type of, hey, what the hell you? No, bro, it got. From everyone else's standpoint, it felt like it was personal. It felt like it was there's tiptoeing the line of like how you talk to your teammates and how I'm all for holding people accountable. I'm all for like talking shit and all that kind of stuff. But this one felt like a little bit much. Like, I
yelled at him too much.
Not seeing the way you're saying it like that, it's making it sound like, oh, I yelled at him too much. Like, oh,
no, I'm serious though. Like, I'm not trying to like, I legit, I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. I legit don't remember this being a big deal. And maybe it really was. Maybe when I said it, I really didn't expect it to become a big deal. I'm like a super verbal person and vocal, and like I get it that sometimes I say more than I should.
Maybe that's why Peter Novak got rid of you for the qualifying.
That's what I'm saying. So that's probably one of the reasons why. Maybe he told me the biggest reason why was because I was playing poker. I was playing poker, and like I cared more about playing poker than the team, and it wasn't like,
I'm telling you, this guy is like.
So I don't know for sure, but I'm sure this had to do with it because this happened a couple days before, and Freddie was a really important person on our team. But I'm trying to think, what did I do that was not? I don't know. I guess like I didn't. Yeah, tell me.
You
Mo.
probably were
remind
like
me, please.
You were probably being Benny, and you were probably like, just like screaming at him, like you're Freddie Edu. Who do you think you are? Or something like that.
Like how I berated the the referee against Seattle? The time
exactly.
like that?
Exactly. Like that.
Look, my memory is fuzzy too, but there might have been even some like physicality involved.
No.
Knowing you might have actually
Me?
like, yeah. What?
Knowing me? Tell me one time you've seen me grab someone on a field.
Freddie. You're downplaying. You should have Freddie on this show and have him tell you his side of the story.
We've talked about it. I have no problem.
He's ignored me on Twitter.
I don't have anything against Freddie. I legit, like, I'm not trying to like make this up. I have no memory of having any negatives with Freddie. Like, I'm playing in when we played in the World Cup in Beijing after 6 months later together, and I had no issues with Freddie. So for me, it was like done and dusted at that time.
I don't think it came from a place of like a personal vendetta. I think like that was just you. Like, you're very outspoken, and in that moment, you know, like, you just went off, and it was like everyone was kind of like, "Damn, bro, that's a little bit much," but all right.
Benny's seeking atonement right now. That's what he.
No, I'm actually seeking the truth. I'm trying to remember like what happened actually, but my mind is fuzzy. I have said this before.
Too much poker, Benny.
There's a lot of things that I do that I don't realize how much it affects other people. So I have to get that in my head sometimes.
I think you should apologize, but what do I know?
I'll send him a formal apology.
No, I'll apologize to him when he gets on the show. As long as he apologized for not losing the damn ball every single time. All right, so
that was when Peter Novak was doing like room checks too. Dude, I remember.
That's what I'm saying. It was like the poker and room checks, and we can't play like past like 10 o'clock.
Oh, wait, you guys are killing Peter off, man. Hey, Peter may be captain that team, so hey.
so he was out of his mind.
Got nothing bad to say, man. Peter made me captain. Yo, by the way, speaking about Peter, it was crazy because I had a good relationship with Peter. Like, when I was in Scotland and he was in Philly, you know, he would call me every now and again and ask me about a couple players that they were looking at and whatnot and whatever. So when I finally came to Philly, he had already left. Like, they had a falling out or whatever. And players, staff, whoever, they just always be like, "Hey, so you know Peter?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yo, he's crazy." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" They would tell me stories about like, who was it? I forget. Someone came into camp.
We've told a lot.
Probably a Moby Okugo.
We've told a lot of good stories on here about
Moby has.
Or the Farfan brothers.
They said someone came into preseason like overweight, so Peter made them wear like a trash bag in training so that they would sweat more, and he wouldn't give them water breaks or nothing. I'm like, hey, I don't know. I can't attest any of this stuff. My interaction with Peter was great. Like I said, Peter made me captain. So, hey.
Well, I could tell you, Peter. My best story with Peter Novak was with that Olympic camp. So he wanted me to come in for the qualifying, and at the time I was at Derby, and I wasn't playing much. The new coach had just come in. Paul Jewell had just come in, and I had been training well. In my opinion, I had been training well, and I felt like I was getting closer to getting more minutes with Derby. And Peter was on the phone with me like every other day and like, "Hey, are you going to come in? You got to ask, for permission to leave because we can't actually take you out for Olympic qualifying. Can't like bring you out. It's not a FIFA date or whatever." And I'm like, "Look, I can't right now. I'm starting to do better. I think I might break into this, awesome team that I'm on." And anyways, so then we play Sunderland at home, and the week before was, in my opinion, my best week of training ever when I was at Derby. I'd played every single day really well and trained well, and I felt like I was going to be given an opportunity this game. And I'd been telling Peter Novak that I wasn't going to come in because I was doing well with Derby. There's like little flies all over the place here. And then we tie Sunderland at home 0-0. He does not bring me in. Paul Jewell doesn't bring me into the game. So I go into his office the next day and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to go with the Olympic team because obviously I'm not getting any opportunities here." Paul Jewell said, "Hey, you do what you got to do, but it's probably going to hurt you in the long run." I'm like, "All right, whatever, dude. Like, this guy's just talking out of his ass, So I go to the Olympic qualifying, and a week later I get cut. So I come back with tail in between my legs, back to Derby County a week later. I got cut from Olympic qualifying from a bunch of guys that are younger than me, and I'm playing on the national team, and I can't even make the Olympic team, qualifying team, and now I'm back at Derby, and I'm never going to play again. So that's my fun story with Peter Novak. He begged me to come into camp and then cut me a week later.
Bro, I got one more story about Peter. Actually, it involves Clint too. And this just like kind of solidified for me. Like I was already like cool with Clint, right? And you guys all know Clint. Clint's like one of the realest people you will meet. Like that's just him. And I don't remember if you were in this camp or not, Benny, but we were at camp, and this was around the time when Bob and Peter were saying like, hey, no phones on the training pitch. If you bring your phone, leave it on the bus, like, but don't bring it out to the field. I don't remember if you remember that or not. But anyway, so whatever. At that same time, Clint's wife was pregnant. So Clint was like, no, I need to have my phone close by in case whatever. So whatever, he brought it out to the training pitch. We go, we train, do that, blah, blah, cool. So we finished training. Everyone's like getting changed. Clint's like looking around like, hey, where's my phone? Have you seen my phone? He's going from person to person. I'm like, nah, bro, I don't know what your phone is. I haven't seen it. Asking this person, blah, blah. And as he's asking more and more people, he's like getting like more and more upset. He's like, what the hell? Where's my phone? No one knows where his phone is. So we get on the bus, and Clint's like, I'm sat right here. I'm actually by the window. Josie's right next to me, and Clint's like opposite us. And you can just see him. He's visibly pissed off because he doesn't know where his phone is. And obviously, like I said, his wife is pregnant. So we're all sitting there. The bus is getting loaded. The last person's gone. Now every player's on the bus. Clint still doesn't have his phone. And we're sitting here like this. Me and Josie sitting here whispering like, yo, what's about to happen? Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
You and Josie,
yeah. And then, so Peter walks on the bus with the phone like this, like, hello? Ha ha ha. Hey, we said no phones on the field. Ha 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 ha. Like, and Clint kind of has his head, and he kind of like glances up, and he sees him, and he sees that he's on the phone, and Peter's like doing his thing with the phone, like, ha ha ha. We said no phones on the pitch. Clint's like, is that my phone? Peter, ha ha ha, whatever. And then Clint stands up like, is that my phone? And Peter's like, hey, we said no phones on the pitch. Clint like slightly starts like takes a couple steps forward like towards him. He's like, hey, is that my phone? And Peter's like, hey, Clint, we said no phones on the pitch, like blah blah blah, trying to explain whatever. Clint's pissed. Clint's like, hey, and me and Josie are sitting like this, like we're kind of like slouching in our seats now, like this, like getting lower, like what's about to happen right now? Is he really about to fight this man? Like, is the coach gonna get attacked? Whose side do we take in this? Like what? And then Clint's like, he says to Peter, he's like, if you don't give me my phone, I'm gonna beat your ass. I said, wait a minute. I said, this is the coach. I said, hey, wait a minute. And then Peter had the phone and he went to hand it to him, and like Clint went to reach for it, and then Peter kind of like pulled it back, like palm faked him. I said, oh shit. And then he gave him the phone eventually, and he's like, hey, we said don't bring phones out on the pitch no more. And then that was the end of that. But we were just like, me and Josie sitting there looking at each other like, yo, what did we just see right now? What just happened? Like, and at that time we were younger too. Josie younger than I was, but you know, still kind of new to the national team and whatnot. Like, I'm like, yo, okay, Clint, all right. Okay, I'm not taking your phone. That's never going to happen, bro.
Nah, they don't make too many like Clint. I feel like I remember this, but now I don't remember if I actually witnessed it or if it's like secondhand. But I've heard this story before, or I was there. But
he was playing poker in the front of the bus.
I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been close by, so I didn't like actually witness this exchange.
Bro,
Do you remember where this was? Where the camp was?
Don't, man. I don't know. Maybe.
Do you remember what year?
Bro, I don't.
Because in 2000 and
everything's a blur to me.
Yeah, 2008, I think, or 2009. Sorry, no, 2008. In the summer of 2008, I got injured. So from 2008 all the way like till March of 2009, I didn't play at all. So it might have been during that. But anyways, yeah, dude, that. Like I said, there's not too many like Clint Dempsey, dude. He's one of a kind.
Clint, yeah, I love Clint, man.
All right. Well, anyways, honestly, the story that I was going to ask you about the Olympics was kind of like a joke, but now that we talked about everything in between, I don't know if it. But what I was going to say is, have you ever accepted the fact that you are a better center back than a midfielder?
Bro, I was just talking. Who was I just talking to about this?
Probably Charlie or Sash.
Maybe. I don't remember. I was just saying, no, I wish I would have come to terms with playing center back earlier on, man, because, like, who knows, man? I probably could have played longer. I probably could have had a longer career, picked up less injuries. And
dude, if you only listened to me.
Nah.
Bro, our team in Beijing was sweet. I'll tell you our weakest point in Beijing. You know what it is?
What?
Coach. It was our weakest point. Peter didn't set up the team the right way, dude. It was crazy. Our team was so nice, dude. You and Parky, Guzan in goal. We had Marvell. We had, I think, who played left back? Orozco. But then Robbie Rogers played left back once he got red card against Nigeria. And then the midfield was Sash, Michael, and Stewie.
We had so many options in midfield, bro.
There was and Robbie. It was those four: Michael, Robbie, Stewie, and Sash. And then up top was Freddie
and
McBride. How is Freddie and Brian McBride playing? Give me a break, dude. When you got Josie and Charlie. You got Josie and Charlie, and you got Freddie and Brian McBride playing.
Wait. Hey, stop disrespecting Freddie. I told you Freddie was one of the best youth internationals I've ever seen.
Yeah, U23 ain't youth anymore. It's a man's game that point.
On 23s?
Yeah, 23s, like, we're playing against Ryan Bobble, dude. That's who we're playing against.
Okay, but that's the over threes, bro. It's still youth kids.
We had a squad, bro. That's like the one. That's like my one, like, disappointment. Like, genuine disappointment. We should have medaled that tournament.
I agree. I have a disappointment for two reasons. One, because we should have medaled, and two, and one because we should have medaled, and two, because he didn't put the right team out. Should have been Charlie and Josie up top. There were guys on the bench. I mean, like, I hate to say it, but I should have been playing in that damn team, and somehow, like, I didn't play. And Dax was on that team, and he didn't play very much.
We had a lot of, like,
Danny Zatella was on the bench too.
Zatella was nice back then too.
I know I'm forgetting some guys,
but
you said Robbie was playing. You said
the team was
like Robbie should have played left back, dude.
Oh, Spectre was injured. Spectre got injured. Yeah,
Robbie should have played left back over Orozco, in my opinion. And then you could play an extra player in the midfield, whether it's me or Dax, and still have all those guys playing. And Freddie and Brian McBride was a bad over 23 pick. Like, he didn't fit in with our team. Our team was so technical, and McBride was like a great goal scorer. But I mean, we spoke to this with Dax about this. When he came out to Stanford, dude, he was trying to finish drills with his shin. It was crazy. Stop laughing, bro. What is this guy talking about? Like, am I right or am I wrong?
Yo, you gotta chill.
Benny's just going on personal vendettas, rant, man. We brought Mo onto the show, and Benny's just going off about all of his regrets about the Olympics of all the teams.
I will. What I will throw into that, tremendous amount of respect for Brian McBride. His career, outstanding. What he did for the full national team, what he did at Fulham, unbelievable. But I do agree that it wasn't the right fit for our team, just the way our team played. And I do remember that camp because we had just flown in from Europe. So we weren't training. We were on the sideline just watching. And that must have been like his first day there or something like that. And they were doing cross the finish. And I said, hey, I don't know. Like I said, that's a legend that you're talking about right here.
He is. He's a legend.
Show some respect.
Oh, I totally respect him. What he did at Fulham and on the national team, unbelievable. But like you said, it wasn't the right fit for that team. And then, Peter, I think, felt pressured into playing him because he was one of the three that he brought in, whereas Josie and Charlie were just at a different level at that time. I mean, a year later, Josie and Charlie started a Confederations Cup. So, like, that something was
our
off
team was
there.
just different, bro. We had our team was just like quick, fast, technically gifted, like good ball movement. Like, we weren't a team that just relied on crosses, or just balls being played in the box. So
it was the last time we've gone to the Olympics, right?
Yep.
God, that's sad, man.
I remember, dude, one of my best memories was watching your parents, dude. I think your mom was like the loudest fan for the U.S.
Bro,
team.
my mom is wild.
Yes, I remember that. I remember hearing stories like from my parents. I'm like, my mom's like, hey, like my mom's loud. And then she's like, hey, Mo's mom is like the best, dude. She's just so loud and she's yelling the whole time. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
That's how my dad is. Mo knows how my dad is.
Oh yeah.
Big Sal.
Yeah,
Big
bro.
Sal.
But my mom, she creates her own app. Dude, we played against Chivas. This is when Chivas was like about to be no longer Chivas. We played Galaxy. Oh, this is right after got cut from the World Cup team, 2014. Came back. We were in LA for like 10 days. Played both LA teams back to back. Played Galaxy, full stadium. We get smacked 4-1. All right. Stay there for another few days. Play Chivas, empty stadium, which was great for me because then I could have like 1 million tickets if I needed. So we had like, I don't even know, probably 40 people out there. And for whatever reason, all of our fans or all my family and all my friends were like right behind our bench. So when I tell you that there was no one in the stadium, it couldn't have been more than 1,000 people. This is no exaggeration. But for that same reason, like my mom, bro, she was loud as hell. You would have thought there was like 20,000 but you would have thought like, you know what I mean? She was just going crazy and just nonstop. I'm like, at points when I was younger, it was embarrassing, you know? You're like, damn, mom, just chill. Like, why you gotta be the loudest one? But then like stuff like this, you hear stories from the Olympics, the World Cup, and everyone's like, your mom's the best. And yeah, man, she's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
All right, let's move on to the World Cup. Has anyone ever given you a legit explanation or any explanation, not illegitimate maybe explanation as to why your goal didn't count?
Yeah.
Against
You talking about when blind man Koulibaly called it back?
But I've never
My
seen
man repping the game like this.
Have you ever seen somebody so confident with a call though? This guy, if you watch that replay and the way he calls it and then just runs up field, it's like as if he
said, yeah, I got this one right. Like, I don't know. You guys are all dumb. Like,
I remember watching from home and just like probably like 90% of the Americans watching, just like looking around, like what's the call? What's going on? What just happened? Why isn't that a goal? And there's just no explanation. The game just kept going.
Bro, and at first people were saying that he called offsides, and they were saying that they called a foul. And I'm like, well, it definitely wasn't a foul on me because on that free kick, I wasn't even supposed to go in the box originally. Like, I was top of the box, supposed to just pick up any scraps or, you know, stop any counterattacks. And then as Landon's approaching the ball, I'm like, yo, this man's he's not paying me any mind. So I'm just going to start creeping a little bit slowly. And then I just kind of followed Landon's run up to the ball, his approach, and I just started making my run based off of that. So I ran through the box like uncontested. And everyone's obviously seen all the still images and everyone being hugged and dragged and this person pulled, that person pulled. I just remember I don't know why I score goals with my left foot so often, but scored with my left foot and then blacked out. And I was like, I got to find my mom. I know my mom and my brother over there going crazy. So I started like beelining towards the stands. This man blows a whistle and I had like a slight delay of like, wait, what the hell? And everyone's like running towards him and I start running towards him too. And then I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I just felt like, damn, I'm like one of the younger ones on this team or I don't know what it was. But I was like, shit, if he lets the play continue right now, I'm probably the one who's going to get blamed for not stopping his play. So I just started like sprinting back at that point and let everyone else argue. But bro, there's no explanation you can give. You got the call wrong. Everyone knows it. It sucks. You know, cause that was my one World Cup and my one chance and, taken away. But hey, the after effect, man, it caused a lot of emotion, commotion, excuse me. A lot of conversation came out of that. A lot of people took interest into our team because there was a controversial play, you know what I mean? And you were there, Benny. You saw the amount of like fanfare and like people reaching out to us on Twitter and whatnot. So it was, even though that moment sucked, the whole experience and like the way the reaction, and I think social media being as big as it was then or starting to get bigger was kind of cool to actually engage with fans and see how many celebrities were taking notice of what we were doing over there.
Yeah, and the one thing that I think goes without saying is the fact that we actually qualified by winning the next game, and we won the group. So at least it didn't cost us anything. You know, I know it cost you personally, like to have a goal in the World Cup would have been an amazing story. And I mean, in reality, you did have one, and it even became a bigger story because they took it away. But at the very least, we still qualified to the next round, and it wasn't one of those where, you know, a terrible call just screws us. So, yeah, but that was insane, man. That game, and I remember going in with you at halftime, and we're out of the World Cup at this point. We lose that game. We're down 2-0 in a World Cup game. Like, how many games do you come back and get a result down 2-0 at halftime? And we're about to, our World Cup's over. And Landon scores that first one.
Do you remember those goals that we scored in that game? By the way,
yeah.
Stupid goals. Like Landon scores from
Landon was just like a long ball.
Mikey had like that.
Michael's shot is one of the hardest shots I've ever seen. He kicked it with his sole, the sole of his foot, and made it like go downwards, like, or else it would have gone over the crossbar. I don't know how he did that. A sliding kick with his sole of his foot. Anyway,
my 2 cents from that game watching was, first off, like the disrespect that the ref showed after the game. Like, he didn't want to like hear any. It was, I mean, that little like bravado after a game from a ref. Refs are human, so you want to treat them like human. But like, if you've got that level, it's just like something irks you as a player to the fact that you won't even be able to get a conversation about it. So, and just like, I actually rewatched it because I wanted to like remember what just happened like an hour ago. And I just remember being like, oh, watching that live, I was livid at, Gumby, the ref, who wouldn't even give anyone any time. It was like, oh, I don't know how you guys did it.
Yeah,
bro, we rushed back in the locker room where everyone was just talking about it, watching replays on phones and whatnot. And yeah, bro, no one had any answers. There was no answers.
I'll tell you what, dude. I remember going into the locker room after that game where we had tied 2-2. And I remember Clint came in kind of late, a little bit after everybody, and he was livid. He was so pissed. He was like throwing shit. And I was like, Clint, relax, dude. We were out of the World Cup 45 minutes ago, and now we're back in it. And if we beat Algeria, we're in. Like, as much as we just got robbed, and as much as maybe we should beat that Slovenia team, we're back in it. And I remember having that mindset. So as much as like, dude, I am like the number one of, if referees screw you, I am the most pissed off dude in the world. But for whatever reason, like, I was thinking positively in that day and thinking, dude, we got this. We got this in our hands. We altered what was happening at halftime to give us another chance going into the last game.
Yeah. I've got actually another question for you, Mo. When I watched the World Cup, those, you being a young guy, I just remember thinking how intense the national team kind of was when you guys got together. And do you feel like that is a stark comparison as to where we are now? Obviously, I know we didn't make the last World Cup cycle, and that plays into things. But do you just feel like there's just such a difference, amongst the core? Because you're still relatively close to the, playing. Do you think there's just like a core, mindset, something just, what you think what it could be that's just so different between those days, that era of guys, and kind of today?
I don't know. I think it's different because this group of players, it's a unique situation, right? Because now they've had a few more games under their belt together collectively, and some guys are starting to really. The hope is that some guys are stepping up to be leaders. But I know, like, when I first came into the national team, it was different, right? There was legitimately and realistically, there was 9 to 10 spots already inked in, right? And there's like 6 guys coming into camp, and you're hoping to maybe take that last starting spot, or you're hoping to just come off the bench, right? Whereas now you've graduated how many young players straight to the first team, and the expectation is for them to come in and to be impactful straight from the get-go, and to assume leadership roles straight from the beginning, it's a daunting challenge because these are kids, right? They're all young players.
Yeah.
And I say the contrast is that I came into the national team and there were guys like Los was there, Bocanegra, Gooch, and Bees, Landon, Clint, and all these guys, and Howard. Yeah, we came into the national team in small bundles, like guys graduated from the Olympic team in small bundles, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys at a time. And you learn straight from the get-go, like, hey, this is what the national team means. This is what it means to train every single day. You were held accountable. They showed us the ropes. So they basically trained us and groomed us to be national team players. It didn't just happen overnight, right? It took a few camps before they really got you in line. But straight from day one, you felt like, wow, this is the national team. This is an honor. This is something that shouldn't be taken lightly or taken for granted. So I think it's slightly, I don't want to say that these guys don't take it for granted or that they don't appreciate the call-ups, because I'm sure that they do. But I just think it's a unique situation because, and I've said this before, if you would have taken our Olympic team and put them all to the full team, I think it would have been a lot different for sure. Because within our Olympic team, we all had our own little pecking order. We knew where we stood. There was no one to check us. We checked ourselves, but if you understand what I'm saying, there's no now veteran players saying like, hey, cool, you guys were the Olympic team, but this is the new standard. So we would have all just graduated at one time and be like, cool, this is our team. We know who we are. We know what our identity is and all that. So these guys are in a unique situation. I think with time, they have a manager in Greg Berhalter who knows what it means to play for the national team. They still have guys like Mikey and Josie that are in camps. And so, the hope is that they'll continue to show them the way a little bit and that they'll grow into the team that they're going to be, because the reality is they're not going to be the 2010 team. They're not going to be the 2002 team. They're going to be their own team, and they have to form their own identity. They have to create that. They have to come together as one and ignore all the outside noise and just focus on what that group is within.
Yeah, I agree, dude. That's well said. I think I can vouch for that same feeling that you talked about going into the national team of, having guys above you that in a certain sense, you owe them respect. They don't owe you anything yet, and you gotta earn that. And the other thing that I'll add to that is when you have those older guys that have played there for numerous games, when you are thrown in there. So let's say, I'm thrown in there for my first game, but I'm surrounded by 10 other guys that have been there before. It's easier for me to perform. Whereas if you put me, you, Michael, Sasha, everybody else at the same age group into a game and nobody's played at that level before, I mean, it's a completely different experience. I'm not going to play as well as I would with 10 other guys that have done that before, and same with you and same with most every other guy. And so I think that's a big thing for as good as for as much talent as we have and, in the Pulisics and McKennies and Tyler Adams and, I can go on and on. Those guys haven't played with, the older guys to feel they like you said, they've had to be the leaders right from the get-go. So it is a completely different ball game.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll just add, the last thing I'll add is that I believe in that group of players, right? I think within that group, they have the talent. And I think I'm really intrigued to see what they look like when Tyler comes back. Cause Tyler for me is the leader of that group. I think he's captain material. He's captain material from the way he plays, but then also he has the respect of his peers. And I think everyone within that group would look up to him. And so I'm excited to see when he's finally back in that team and what that team looks like then.
Yeah, he's a game changer. Having played with them for a few years in New York, he would galvanize an entire team and change the way they would play as a team. So
just like through his energy as well, right?
Yeah, his energy, his attitude, his everything.
This kid's he's annoying to play against, bro. The first time I played against this kid was I was doing rehab in Philly, and so I was playing with our second team, and my first game with them was against Red Bull 2. This kid, bro, he's annoying because he's buzzing around the field. Like,
was he barking at you?
Oh, he's talking shit to us, bro.
Yeah, he talks shit to everybody.
He's talking shit to everyone. I'm like, yo, what? Hey, can you chill for a minute? Hold on, first of all. And he's talking shit to us. He's talking shit to his teammates, holding them accountable. They give him the ball, he loses it. He don't care. He's just like, hey, give me the ball again. And if they don't give it to him, he's like checking them. Yeah. I'm like, hold on, bro. How old is this little kid? Like, what's the deal? So for me, for me, on the field, I think he's a good player. Tactically, he understands all that. But up here, I think that's where he exceeds most of his peers around him.
And when I said barking, I meant like legit barking like a dog. This man was barking at me once when I had the ball. I looked, I said, what? Yo, he had the crazy eyes. He did. I was like,
Jesse Marsh has molded him into this guy, by the way.
Well, listen, I got to play with him in January camp, but he's a good dude. But he's intense mentally. He's locked in from a young age, which is impressive.
All right, winding down here. U.S. Open Cup final.
Which one?
I have one question for you that it won't be you. I won't put you on the hot seat yet. That'll be Ike's opportunity. But why would you guys sub out Andre Blake for penalty shootouts? And I have to say this in a nice way because concussions are legit and you can't make fun of concussions. But the goalie that you put in gave himself a concussion while throwing a ball out to someone. So I'm trying to figure out Andre Blake, who was I believe he won goalie of the year one of these years, right? And you sub him out in the most important shootout of your team's history to put in, what was his name? McCarty?
I think, yeah. So we had just lost a PK shootout earlier in the tournament to to Philly and McCarthy. So I'm sure that played into it a little bit.
Yeah, but what I'm getting is McCarthy is like he's a bit of a little bit of a
space cadet.
He's a little crazy. He's a little crazy. At least it seems like it.
Most goalkeepers are crazy though.
Yeah, the thinking there was that he was good at penalties. He had saved a few penalty kicks, and I remember that game against you guys, Sal, because man, that was the one time when I was like, okay, it's a decent banter from the Red Bull fans. Like as I'm walking up to take my penalty kick, I hear them chanting something, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm taking my time, thinking I'm cool. Like, I'm not running up there. I'm making sure that they wait for me. So every step I get closer, I'm hearing it get louder and louder. I'm like, what the hell are they saying? But I'm keeping like a straight face because I'm focused, whatever. I get probably about 30 yards out, and I'm like, oh, shit. They're chanting, U.S. reject. I said, oh, bruh. That one hurts different. I just got cut from the national team, from the 2014 World Cup. And so, yeah. But no, the thinking with John was that, yeah, he was good at penalty kicks. He had made a few saves leading up to that in the run of the Open Cup tournament. So I think that was something that had been discussed beforehand. Obviously, whatever, it's a gamble, right? If we win that game, then it's not talked about at all. But we lost, and yeah, it is what it is, man.
I mean, we've all lost in penalty shootouts before.
Yeah, but I mean, for us, it sucked because it was back-to-back Open Cup finals, back-to-back Open Cup finals that we hosted.
Yeah, I know.
The other one was against Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Against Clinton and Obafemi, ain't nobody going to beat him.
No, but the reality is they didn't even play them. Like they came off the bench.
Did they?
Disrespectful.
They still won.
Came off the bench, bro. I said, oh, this one hurts, man. And we had a chance to win that game, but yeah, whatever.
We took some really good penalties in that game. I remember these guys were hitting like upper 90s.
Yeah.
He was guessing right, the goalie, bro. He was.
He didn't guess. He didn't guess right on mine. No, he didn't guess right on mine.
You may have been the only one because you're so good.
I remember thinking like, damn, bro, like what's going on right now? Like the margin of error for you guys for all your shots was like this.
Yes.
I was like, I mean, we lost to some better shooters, I guess.
Yeah.
I've got a couple. I've got a couple questions from our time playing each other in Philly. Do you remember in 2015 I started off the first 7 games on fire before I ruptured my Achilles? Like I was on fire, scoring goals. We played Philly in one of these games. On the set piece, the first set piece I'm walking up. It's you and 2 other people triple teaming me on a set piece. And I look at you and I said, what the hell is this? And you said some smart ass remark back to me. And I remember I was getting absolutely murdered by you guys. I've never been physically, but here's the worst part about it. PV would always come up to me and be like, oh, with your athleticism, your timing, blah, 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 you should be scoring a goal every game on set pieces. I'm like, bro, do you watch these games? I'm getting triple teamed. But, and so I just remember that vaguely, as one of the moments I'm like, this is real. Like these guys are crazy. And then we go.
But hey, you should take that as a compliment, right?
I do. I used to get mad at PV and we'd be like, yo, maybe like someone else should, get on the end of one since I'm the one that's getting murdered, triple teamed. There's got to be someone else, right? But no, I did take a bit of a compliment, but I was upset for sure though, because it's the one moment to have a little bit of glory as a center back, as you should have known, when you played there. So you guys would took my joy away from me, which was always devastating. But actually, what's funny? Also going to Philly and hearing the Dupe song, which on TV sounds whack, it really does. But you get in the stadium and it starts playing, you're like, this kind of lit though. Like,
it's crazy. I didn't know what it was, man. Like when I first, when they first announced like the deal was done and I was coming there on loan, everyone kept tweeting me like Dupe, 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 and I was like, all right, Dupe, yeah, cool. I don't know what that is, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And then coming to the stadium, we score a goal, and I hear it, I'm like, all right. Peter Novak, that was him who introduced that to the team.
Yeah,
really? Yeah, man.
Maybe you guys should get rid of that then, right? Is that a little stint on that?
All right, last question. Last question I got, bro, before you get introduced to Kenna. All right, how's life different? This is a more for me question. How's life different now than as a player?
Well, I guess for me, because it's still new, right? So there's in the early days, you're still trying to find your feet, and the challenge sometimes comes because you're not getting games on a consistent basis. So I know early on, especially, I would call a game, let's say today, and then I might not call one again for the month, and so that part was hard for me, and because I would get feedback and I'd watch the game back with that under that new lens with the information that I've got I took on board, and so I'd watch that. Like, okay, yeah, that was shit. I need to do that better. Okay, that was good. I actually like that. And whatever. You critique yourself as well. But then I don't have a game the following weekend.
You want to go right away.
Right, to apply it. So that part was hard for me, definitely. The thing that's challenging for me now is I have a son, right? So in my playing days, it was me. And then my later days, I had a girlfriend. So, but I didn't have any dependents or like any kids or anything like that. So now traveling a lot, it's a little bit harder because I'm like, damn, I don't really want to leave him so often. So, but at the same time, it's not too strenuous to travel, but I guess that's one of the biggest changes for me. And then you try to make the most of it. Like I said, I'm fortunate that I work with people that I've known with Turner. I work with Tim. I work with Stu. Carlos was there for a little while. I knew Kate a little bit, but not really well. And now with Fox as well, like built good relationships with them as well. So it's cool because you start to form that same kind of team feeling. So you're not in the locker room and sharing a locker room and all that kind of stuff, but you're on trips together. You go to dinner together. You have the time before production meetings, all that stuff. You've had a couple games now, so you've seen that, right? So there's time when you start to build that same kind of camaraderie, and you try to make it feel like that same kind of locker room atmosphere. So that part is kind of special. And then I talked to you about already the vantage point when you're in stadium calling games. Like there's so much. I called LAFC game last year, and being in the stadium and being able to just witness everything and not be focused so much on winning this tackle or tracking back or doing that, and actually just being able to sit there and appreciate what the fans are and what soccer is in this country nowadays. I truly enjoy that part of it too.
Yeah. No, I think the banter is what you want, I think that's the part where you'll miss if you don't find that. And so it's like what you said, when you're with Turner and when with Bleacher Report or with the Fox guys, you want to find that banter as much as you can with the guys.
Yeah. And I think also too, the one thing, the every day when you're on a team, right? It's every single day, like that part, and you get into a routine really quickly. For me, you have your routine when you know you have a game coming up, or when you're leading up to travel or something like that. But there's like quite a bit of downtime to where you can still enjoy, family life more so than maybe I could have done in my playing days. But I didn't have a family back then, so it wasn't an issue really.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any questions before we get going into the meat of the interview?
That was easy, bro. Like, come on now.
Yeah. It was supposed to be easy, bro.
Oh no, that was the easy part.
That was the easy part. That was just talking about all the great things you've done in your career and all the friendships that you've made, and now we're gonna get into all the terrible stories with Ike's interrogation. You're about to join Ike for his interrogation, and you are currently on the hot seat. As you know, 5 questions. You can plead the 5th one time, Mo. One time. But if you don't plead the 5th, then you get to ask any one of us one question that we must answer truthfully. So good luck. You're now in Ike's room.
So question number 1. This is going to be a little bit of a hypothetical here, but your missed PK against SKC in the 2015 Open Cup. Let's say that would have been the PK to win the game and you couldn't make it to, the win, give Philly their first ever title. Would you rather have that or the goal that was called back against Slovenia in the 2010 World Cup?
World Cup, bro. World Cup.
Yeah. Whoa. Wow.
World Cup. I would have been dope because when I went there and when I eventually became captain, a part of my mentality was like, man, I want to be the first captain to bring a trophy to Philly. So obviously winning Open Cup would have been dope, but like, man, World Cup, like I said, I thought when I went to that first World Cup that I would have another one, and in my head, I was like, oh, I'll get another chance to score a goal in the World Cup. It didn't happen. So the reality is that doesn't happen often, So if that goal would have counted, then that's just different.
Yeah. Well, Philly's still trophyless, just so we're clear. So you've got thousands of fans right now who are hurting, wanting the trophy, and you'd rather have the individual glory.
It's coming, man. It's coming.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Doop 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 doop
That
doop.
Philly trophy's coming.
Well, they went to like 2 more Open Cups since, and they've still yet to win one, I think. So maybe.
Bro, can you relax? Can you relax?
Hey, you're on my hot seat, all right? Just so you know, you're on my hot seat. All right. So you, this is funny. You've kind of lived the "Can you do it on a rainy night at Stoke?" That whole phrase that's been always going around on social media. You lived at Stoke. Kind of want to know some of these stories. So I'm going to have you rank these cities of where you've lived from first to worst: Toronto, Glasgow, Philly, Stoke, and Bursa.
What am I ranking them based off of?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
How much you enjoyed those cities, and especially highlight the Stoke one because your old teammate Charlie Adam in one article once said that Stoke City players got away with murder, and so I would kind of love to hear a little bit about that.
He said that. He said what? He said what? Charlie said what?
That Stoke City players got away with murder. This was like a few years ago, so that was kind of the overlap at the time that you were there, and I know your good friend Breck Shea was there too, but.
Yeah, no, I'd say Toronto. Just speaking about cities, nothing else. Toronto's one. That's easily one of my favorite cities. Glasgow. You said just cities that I played in.
Yeah.
Okay, so Toronto's one. Glasgow two. I didn't live in Stoke, bro. So I don't know if you want me to rank Stoke or I didn't live in Stoke. I live closer to Manchester. So
okay, well. So Stoke was last because you refused to live there.
Stoke. So Stoke's not up there. So it would be Toronto, Glasgow, Philly. I'm going to just talk about my time in these places. So Stoke will be fourth because my time there was fun. Not in Stoke, but in Manchester. and then Bursa will be last. But Glasgow was a good time. You talk about having Breck and Stoke, man. Jeff was there too, but in Scotland, man, what a time. When I went there, Bees was already there. And then I think my last 2 years, or maybe my last year, Bedoya came, and then Carlos came too. So it was just like Americans all around. And even Philly, man. Philly was crazy because in my like last 2 years there, we had like, I don't know how it happened, but we just brought in everyone. Gooch came in, Bedoya came there, Charlie came there, Pontius came there. So it was like oh, this is all my boys all in one place. This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's some fun, man.
Yeah, it always makes it better when the group, when you're excited to go in every day and be with those guys that you enjoy. All right. Question number 3, fan question. If you had to suit up for one of these two teams and kiss the badge, I'm going to add this part, and kiss the badge, would it be for Celtic or El Tree? Kiss the badge on camera.
Kiss the badge, huh? Oh man. I would look, Landon did a commercial for Mexico, you know, and got away with it, right? Like so it might be possible to not get as much backlash.
Yeah.
So
I think the rival with Rangers and Celtic is bigger, if I'm being honest. So I could see how you choose that.
Nah, you gotta go with demographics, dude. Americans are listening to this. Now you just said you're kissing the El Tree. And...
Let me finish. I said I could probably get away with it, but then you think about it too. There have been players who played for Rangers and Celtic, right?
Kenny Miller, my boy.
Yeah. Damn, but kissing the badge, bro, that's like an added little twist of the dagger.
Picture. I know.
Yeah.
If he answers this one, then that means he's got something lined up for one of us.
No, if I answer this question, it means that I'm willing to take on the abuse that I'm about to get. That's gonna get hurled my way. Look, I'm gonna stick by the fact that Landon got away with it, man.
Can you get in the middle of the camera at least, Mo?
Yeah. I want you to say it. I will kiss the badge.
No. I didn't say I will kiss the badge. You said hypothetical. Which would I do? I didn't say I will.
Okay.
Hypothetically,
if this ridiculous scenario somehow presented itself,
You would kiss the badge of.
You know what? Okay, yeah. My girlfriend's Mexican, right? So my son being mixed race, I can't just sit there and disrespect half of his heritage. So that's what we have a winner.
So who's the winner?
I would have to. I mean, you know,
you have to say it, dude.
Put on a Mexican jersey. I guess about it.
And
That's what it is. Bro, why? That's a dumb question. Like, what's wrong with you? All right, so I would, in that scenario, I guess I would choose Mexico, man. I know I'm gonna get killed for saying that, but you know, I can't. I have to acknowledge half of my son's heritage, and it's only right. It's only right.
Using your son as the scapegoat almost, but
yeah, that's. Hey, he was willing to sacrifice anybody. Clearly.
Yep. Yeah.
Question number 5. So you've talked about the different perspective being in broadcasting now. And so what club do you walk around now in your own criteria, you know, what you see, that you're like, A, I wish I was still a player and I would play for, or B, I'm glad I'm not a player and don't have to play for this club? Who would those clubs be?
I mean, like the obvious choices would be like what LAFC's done in terms of everything. Benny, you were there. So you could probably there, speak to it better than I can. But like, just
you trained with me.
Oh yeah, I trained, but I was at UCLA. Trained at UCLA.
Yeah.
But I mean, like seeing being in the facility and game day and all that kind of stuff. You know what that's like as a player. But from the outside looking in, it looks like they've got it spot on from the way they created their fan base, attention to detail within the way they structured everything in and around the stadium, the way the club is run. They brought in the right coach and they've had success on the field. So they're just like, and to be in LA, of course, like that's, come on now. I think Atlanta's done a good job too. I finally got to see KC's training facility, and like I was telling Peter, I was pissed. I was like, bro, why didn't you never sign me? Like, what's the deal?
It's crazy.
He was like, that.
Wow.
He was like, yeah, actually, we were trying to sign you at one point, but whatever, it didn't happen. But seeing the,
I know why. Because you were getting too much money, dude. That's why. PV can't be paying you in the millies, bro. Are you kidding me?
That was before TAM, bro. Yeah, that facility was
relax, man. Yeah. I would say probably Atlanta, LAFC. Trying to think off the top of my head real quick. I haven't, you know what? Since I left Toronto, I haven't seen their new facility yet. So, but I hear that one's really nice as well. There's quite a few teams now that are raising the bar, but I would say those two are like the highlights.
That's a good Bob Bradley.
Raising the bar.
Raising the bar.
That's the original Bob Bradley quote, right?
Long enough under his tutelage, you know. And then teams that I wouldn't want to play for.
Here we go.
Dun dun dun. Montreal never was like on my list of teams that I had any interest in. It's just, I don't know, never had a real good connection with that city. Didn't spend much time there. So I maybe would say Montreal. Doesn't seem like, I'm curious to see how they do now with Henry though. I mean, prior to Henry, I wouldn't have wanted to play for them. I think Henry, that was like one of my heroes growing up. So, but prior to him, like, who else? We'll see what New England's.
Can't we just give New England a break?
We did. I thought we were.
Can't we just give New England a break?
Okay, I'll leave it at Montreal.
All right. All right, man. Well, you've graduated. You've successfully answered all 5 questions. You're no longer on the hot seat, and you have earned yourself 1 question for any one of us 3 if you choose.
You could also pass if you'd like.
I mean, the question I got for Betty won't make the air.
Nah, you cannot bring that in. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, I don't want to hear stories about Spider-Man.
And I think I know what the story is too.
I think I do too. Is it?
There are no stories about Spider-Man
Benny's
on
never
the show.
told me the full story because he's embarrassed. I don't know if it's the same one.
You can go ahead. I'll BSI the podcast will no longer be.
So that's out the window. Question. Let's see. I should have thought about this beforehand, shouldn't I? I want to see Sal. Let's see.
Somehow I always get asked the question.
I can't believe you're trying to bring something like I don't even know what question, how you would have worded a question. I don't even know what you're thinking.
How I would ask that question?
I don't even know what question, the question would have been.
Can you describe to us that night and how you saw it through your eyes? Bro, what a trip that was.
I do remember buying a Louis Vuitton belt. I was forced into buying a Louis Vuitton belt by you guys.
And
you remember when our dumbasses all bought that same Gucci bag?
No, I wasn't one of those guys. But I
They
remember I
bought
bought a
the
Louis
Gucci
Vuitton
watch,
belt, and then when I
the
went
black
home,
Gucci watch.
When I got back to the hotel, I opened it up and it was a Kenneth Cole belt. And apparently somehow Guzan had like switched it out and put his, and I was like, dude, these got all marks on it. It's like already all messed up. It's like used. And I was so pissed.
Did he give it back to you?
What's that? Yeah, he gave it back to me afterwards. But I freaked out. I was like, oh my God. Because you know how the Louis Vuitton belts, you get it like sized.
Yeah.
So I tried it on. I'm like, okay, it's got to be a little bit smaller. And I gave it back to the lady, and she took it back and like sized it up and then brought it back to me in the box. And I never opened the box again. And I was like, oh my God. That lady took it back and put a Kenneth Cole belt in there, and I just bought a $10 belt for $400. I was livid. I was like, we're going back to the store. And then finally, like, I don't know how many minutes later, like Guzan like showed me that he had it. He like switched it out somehow, I think in the cab or something. He crushed me.
Man, that was the question I had, bro. I really wanted I wanted to see if you were gonna bite on that. Now you always get asked the questions. Ike, tell me about.
Well, Sal says he always gets asked the questions because he doesn't do anything. And he's like, "Oh, I was chilling here, minding my own business." Okay, what's up? I'll answer.
Damn, I should have done some homework here. I was really hoping that Benny would give us something with that story, but
I did give you something.
No, bro, you didn't give us anything. Like, and I get it.
All right, I'll give you something.
You really can't because if you start talking, then I'm gonna start talking, and it's gonna be a wash, and we can't talk about it. It's gonna get edited out. So yeah, we'll just leave it as it is.
I don't. That story, like, it just can't. Like, what are you gonna say to that story?
Sal, stop recording.
Damn, bro. I should have just pleaded the fifth because I don't have any good questions for you. You just tell me something, man. Tell me about. I don't care about who your worst teammate was. I don't care about. I want something juicy, bro. Like who's that? Okay, who's the teammate that you've had who was like borderline, probably could get arrested? You could see him getting arrested for a few different things.
Oh, okay.
I got a few of those.
Man, I'm trying to think back. Well, Alan Gordon aside, because this guy would just Alan Gordon could do anything if pushed. I would say, actually, you know what? Off the top of my head, Felipe Gutierrez, I could see being super angry and wanting to murder someone. Yeah, no, I think he could. He's just intense. I love it, but he's intense. Uncle Phil will come after you. Like, I'm no joke. And the dude's like kind of strong too. You think he's like, petite 5'9". No, the guy's like legit. He's got he's got something behind him that you could see. He's got a couple body bags.
I'd say Clint, dude. Clint could do something.
I didn't play
crazy
with Clint though.
I remember he wanted to murder John Harkes when he like said some shit over the air, like against Trinidad and Tobago. Do you remember that game?
And then we saw he was at the training the next day or something, or like 2 days later.
I think he was on the plane on the ride home.
I don't know. I remember he was at training one of the camps, and I think he tried to say what up to him, and Clint was just like, Clint was Clint, bro. Like, yo, don't
Right.
Because Clint is on the spectrum of real. Clint is here. So he's not going to tolerate you trying to like flirt here, talk here one day and then be here. No. So when he saw him, I guess, I don't remember what he had said beforehand or what Clint actually said there and then, but he just was like, nah, bro, don't fuck out of here, like that kind of type thing, like don't come over here. Right. But yeah, I couldn't know, but I wouldn't see Clint wouldn't be my person who I could see getting arrested now. Like, no. Sal, what about you? I'm like turning this whole thing into a group conversation now.
We had this player on Portland named Frank Songo. He played at Barcelona's youth academy. What a player he was, but just couldn't keep his head on straight. And yeah, I don't know how he was not arrested in Portland that year we were there. I mean, just the reckless stuff he was doing that you'd hear stories about. I mean, it involved alcohol, it involved going out excessively, and
well, you guys
lots of things. But like, it's crazy that he played a full season there, and then I think the front office caught wind of a lot of it and didn't really allow him back. So,
bro, I had so many more stories to tell you guys. Oh man, bro, appreciate you guys.
We gotta keep your family together.
There's some stories that we can tell on the podcast. There's some that are better left untold.
Yeah, thanks, Mo. Appreciate it,
thanks,
man.
Bro.
Hotspurs over Pats all day. Later, bro.
Oh, this guy. All right, man. Appreciate you guys.
Take care.
Later, man.
Later.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mo Edu. As we thought, a great episode. This dude likes telling some stories, and I almost feel like he wanted to tell us some more stories.
Yeah, we could have gone on for hours, I think.
For sure. He was at a constant struggle with himself, whether he should tell some of the stories that were on his mind. But he gave us some insight to his career, which was cool.
He's a guy that we could bring on maybe a second time to fulfill the need for the rest of the stories there. But anyways, that was a good episode. I liked hearing some of the stories and he got on me again, dude. I'm telling you, this story that he told me about Freddie Edu, I think I need some videotape for evidence, because that's not the way I remember it.
I don't remember the details on that. I do remember you saying something to him, but I don't remember it being like as crazy as.
Yeah, me neither. But I don't know. I believe him that it was crazy because when I get into that mode, it's like an out of body experience. But I'm never one of those guys to. Very rarely am I one of those guys to let something like that stay in my head for a long time. So I probably didn't think it was as big as maybe some other people did, but
that's probably why he hasn't responded to my Twitter message about being on our show.
That's right.
Didn't realize that he hated you so much.
He still holds a grudge. I'd love to have Freddie on, man. He's got some stories too, that'd be cool to talk. He's been everywhere. He's played everywhere, and so that'd be fun to talk to him. Anyways, getting off topic. Where you can find us: streaming platforms, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Overcast. Email BennySalThePodcast@gmail. Send us your questions. Social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is at BSI the Podcast, hashtag BSI the Podcast, hashtag Ike's Interrogation. And continue to rate, tell your friends, everything. And again, let's keep going with the GoFundMe. Whatever you have to give if you can. If not, then mention it on Twitter and Instagram or whatever to all your followers, and hopefully it spreads the word. And I'm actually going to get Mo hopefully to I'm going to peer pressure him to seeing if he's got some extra money to donate for the cause as well. So I forgot to mention that in the podcast, but we'll see if he can do that as well. That's all I got. Anybody else got anything else?
No, just to stay safe out there. Take care of your mental health. I think a lot of people are starting to understand mental health a little bit if they didn't believe in it now. So do what you need to do to get through this. So we're all in it together. So
yep, just like Beast Mode said, dude. Take care of your chickens, your mentals, and whatever else he said. He said a bunch. Your body.
Yeah, it's a real thing, bro. Maybe we'll touch on that one day. It's a real thing.
All right. Well, we really appreciate all you guys listening in, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, guys.